Welcome to On the Bench on the Web. Well, we'll tackle some topics around SU sports. And first off, let's go to Jim Boeheim's squad. Michael Carter-Williams has been up and down all season, but now he's nominated for the Oscar Robertson National Player of the Year award. Does that mean MCW's back?
No, I still don't think so, Kevin. I mean, I don't think the best player on the team was even nominated for this award. It's CJ Fair. He's been the most consistent player on this team, and if you look at the talent around the rest of college basketball, Carter Williams isn't even in the same neighborhood as guys like Otto Porter of Georgetown, Victor Oladipo at Indiana, Trey Burke at Michigan. You could even throw Ryan Kelly in at Duke, and he missed 13 games this year. I don't think Carter Williams is back just yet, but his play down the stretch is going to be key for Syracuse in the Big East tournament.
Fair enough, but here's the thing about Carter Williams is that he has that supporting cast of James Sutherland when he's hot, Brandon Trish when he finds his stroke, CJ Fair, like you mentioned before. It's easy for him to be good and to be considered for these things because he can put up 15 assists in a night and really not even break a sweat.
So we now go from basketball to lacrosse, where we had a big win this past week in the Carrier Dome. It was Syracuse and Virginia. Syracuse coming into this game, in the middle of the rankings, but a big overtime win against UVA as she moved up a couple of spots in the polls. So is the team back after that win?
Syracuse fans and lacrosse fans need to start to understand lacrosse in a different way, from a different perspective. Syracuse being back doesn't exist anymore. Syracuse isn't going to be an upper echelon team just because the rest of the the rest of lacrosse is starting to catch up with them. It's hard to be that team that dominates like they did through the 90s and mid-90s and late 90s, that back-to-back-to-back national championships. It's not going to happen because everybody else is getting good. And so Syracuse being back, okay, they beat Virginia, that's great, but they can still be beat by a team like Albany, which is great for the sport of lacrosse. It just might be unwelcome for some Syracuse fans.
And John Desko is still trying to recover from that loss of the class of 7 from a few years ago. I mean, his recruiting base is still gutted. He's still trying to get talent back in this program. The game against St. John's in the Independence Classic in Philadelphia will be a good litmus test for them for sure, but we can't say they're top 10 just yet.
And Syracuse women's basketball heading into the Big East tournament on its own. Can they knock off Notre Dame?
Not Notre Dame. Notre Dame is far and away the best team in this conference. Skylar Diggins is just playing on a whole nother level with that team. They went perfect in conference play. The way the bracket's set up right now is that Syracuse, with that double bye, they'll place either Villanova, Georgetown, or Providence. And if they advance past that, they'll probably play the 2 seed, and that would be Connecticut. Connecticut just lost to Notre Dame in triple overtime, and they haven't been able to beat Notre Dame yet. This team is still something to prove. Gino Auriemma still is going to have his team ready, and let's not forget the Big East tournament is played at the XL Center in Hartford, Connecticut. It's a de facto home game for the Huskies if they play the Orange. I don't see SU being ready just yet, but they will, I think, get to the semifinals.
Either way, it's going to be a series for Syracuse fans to remember. Kayla Alexander, the all-time leading scorer, concluding her career at Syracuse. Kayla Alexander, Gino Auriemma, if you're a Syracuse fan, a lot of legends to talk about there. And we close with women's ice hockey. The women's ice hockey team more successful this year than they have been in recent years, but now they're going off to play number 1 Mercyhurst in the CHA tournament. Goalie Callie Bilodeau is coming in with the highest save percentage in the conference. The catch-22 is Syracuse has never beaten Mercyhurst.
Not just this season. They've never beaten Mercyhurst in program history. This has been a great year for Syracuse, obviously. A number 2 seed in the conference tournament, but Mercyhurst is just playing on a different level than everybody else, and Syracuse hasn't been able to figure them out yet. They're getting closer. They're starting to crack through just a little bit. I just don't see it happening. I see maybe a 1 or 2 goal loss here, but I just don't see it happening in this conference tournament for the Orange.
Alongside Dan Cohen, I'm Kevin Barry, and you've watched On the Bench on the Web.